Welcome, all you loyal Claret and Cobalt faithful. Kevin, we got lots to talk about and lots of opinions to share. We've gone through three straight wins. This week we had a debut stunner, and Real Salt Lake keep rolling in Sandy. They leaned on the kids, and now does Big Brother finally show up? I think they might have in this one. This is Into the Right.
Caliscan across. Oh, goal! And Real Salt Lake gets the goal right back. 1-1. Spearings! Wow! What a goal! Stein Spearings, welcome to Salt Lake City. 2-1.
I'm Mike, and with me is my brother Kevin, and we're breaking down the identity shift under Pablo Minestrone, the rise of the Academy Core, the return of Luna and Olatunji, how RSL turned a shaky start into a statement finish last weekend, and then we're looking ahead to San Diego. Before we dive in, Kevin, got to make sure everybody's a part of this. Make sure your listeners, make sure you're a part of the Riot beyond just match day. Listen to the podcast, follow us on social media, share the show, post it, and tell your friends to join us. The bigger this community gets, the louder the Into the Riot voice becomes. Let's get into it. Kevin, RSL, I feel, didn't just win on Saturday. Some old faces showed up. The question is, did they find a new weapon or just another vital piece to the puzzle?
You know, you're right. If you weren't at American First Field on Saturday night, you missed the certified instant classic. We're talking 3 straight wins, 3 in a row. The momentum is real, the vibes are amazing, and this team is officially rolling at home. We've outscored Austin 14-8 across our history at the Riot. And tonight, we add another chapter to the dominance. Let's just talk about Stein Spearings for a minute, can't we?
Sure.
It was really crazy. We already had the crowd was going crazy because Luna had just come in and things started just hyping up, and then everyone saw Spearings get up, and it was the first time we got to see him in the regular season, and it was exciting. I mean, we put some money into this person, and we wanted to see what he could do, right?
Sure.
And so steps onto the pitch, and in the 83rd minute for his debut, his first ever touches in Claret and Cobalt, and 5 minutes later, boom, a 25-yard absolute laser into the back of the net. That's how you introduce yourself to the RSL family. It was the quickest debut goal in club history, and yeah, I think he'll fit in just fine.
Yeah, for sure.
Scary part for the rest of the West are our weapons are coming back. Seeing Diego Luna and Olatunji step back onto the grass in the 70th minute. Like I said before, you could just feel the energy, the stadium shift. We finally had our guys back, and they did. They looked hungry. It was funny to me because at that 70th minute, you saw Moisa get up, and he was coming towards the coach, and I was excited. I think Moisa really fits in with the team, and I was excited for him to come into the game, and then you see him go back to the bench, and Luna comes up, and the whole crowd. It was just it was fun to watch. The crowd just went crazy. They started chanting his name. It was really fun night. We went down early in this game, but this squad, they didn't blink, and it's becoming the RSL way. We fought back. We forced the mistake for the equalizer, and we hunted the winner until the final whistle. And this isn't just a win, it's a statement that the fortress is back and better than ever. But yeah, the confidence is sky high. The roster is getting deep, and American First Fields is officially a house of horrors for visiting teams again. We are building something special in the 2026 and I'm here for every second of it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You know, you talk about Spearings having those 4 touches. Yeah, he touched the ball 4 times before he scored the goal.
Yeah,
4 times. And I think, yes, has Big Brother shown up? I think the answer to that is yes, but I don't believe it's just individually Spearings. I don't think it's individually uh, Luna Diego. I think it's the multitude of players that we have. When I say Big Brother showed up, I'm saying the veterans are back. They're healthy. This team is whole. It's complete, and it's going to be fun to see what they can do, not just within league play, but with the cups coming up and being
sure.
able to share time. RSL entering the night on Saturday came in at 2 wins, 1 loss, chasing a third straight win for the first time since 2025 of July. They had, like you mentioned before, RSL, their strong home record against Austin FC. They've won 5 out of the last 6 wins now against them at home. The only change that Pablo made going into this game was Griffin Dillon's start. This was his first home start in the MLS. And Kevin, I think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, he did. I I was a little not upset, but like I just got used to Moisa in there. He's just been doing really good. But yeah, Dylan, he stepped in. He I mean, those two there's not a whole lot of difference between them.
No, I don't think so either. I think there might be just a little bit more experience under Dylan's belt, just because he's older and
Yeah.
he's played a little bit longer. But they are very much a like for like player for Pablo. Kind of to break the first half down, you mentioned that Real Salt Lake started a little bit slow. In the 18th minute, we give up the early goal to Austin. Bell from Torres, as it was. It was on a set piece. Kind of had an issue that so early in this season with the set pieces.
Yeah.
Bell rises above, far post. Again, he rose up above the defense and beat Rafa back the other way with a header. There was certainly a momentum swing right then and there. Kevin, before I move on, I want to ask the question: do we have a problem defending set pieces? Is this going to be a problem? Are we going to be able to fix this? What is it?
I don't think so. I mean, yes, it's a struggle right now, but even in Pablo's interview after the match, he kind of talked about it, and it's Gozo's job to be on that far post, but he's still learning the ins and outs to this position that he's playing. I mean, wouldn't you think?
Oh, for sure. He was brought up an attacking player, and now he's
Yeah,
being put into a role where he's playing corner flag to corner flag, and it's a lot of responsibility.
yeah, and Pablo was just he kind of touched on Rafa and Jay Glad needed to maybe just remind him that, hey, you need to be on that post or whatever. Because if you look at Rafa when that went in, he kind of just he watched like he thought maybe someone would be there, and. But yeah, I don't really think we're gonna have an issue with set pieces. I just think we're a little shaky right now, but I think we're gonna come around and be okay with it.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily they're shaky. It's just I think it's a communication thing. It's a brand new team. These players, some of them have played together, but not in the same positioning that they are in now. So, and like I mentioned before, the roles and responsibilities are different for a lot of the boys, a lot of the
Yeah.
players on the pitch right now for RSL. So in the 18th minute, RSL goes down. I don't know about you. You were at the stadium. I was at home watching it on TV. I feel a little bit of frustration with when that happened.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit irritating just for the fact that it's like, oh, that's kind of a cheap goal, man. We got to do better on these set pieces. But RSL didn't spiral. They didn't break. They didn't rush anything after that. They didn't lose their shape. They got scored on. Then they just went back to work. They shifted to something a little bit sharper in their play, and they became very much more intentional with what they were doing. What did you see? Is this a total team buy-in for Pablo's system?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That wasn't just a win, that was a culture shift. And you can feel it in the air at the RioT, right? That night.
Mm-hmm.
Even Pablo said, there's something about this group, maybe even magical. But we have to talk about the foundation of this win, because it wasn't just about the late banger. It started from the back. Cabral, absolute wall. 9 saves, Mike. 9. In moments where the match could have absolutely slipped through our fingers, Rafa was the calmest man in Sandy.
Yeah, it came early and it came late.
Yeah, it really did. He didn't just play keeper though. He played like a captain. He didn't panic. He didn't let the pressure get to him. He just stood his ground and told Austin, not tonight. And then speaking of foundations, Justin Glad, the anchor, the heartbeat of the defense, he was winning every duel, organizing that line like a general. And then in that 88th minute, he was the one that delivered the assist that changed everything. And that's the veteran leadership at its finest. But here's where it really gets me hyped, Mike. The kids, we've said it before, but the kids are all right. We're looking at Xavier Gozo, Aiden Hizarkani, and Griffin Dillon. They weren't just hanging on out there. They were dictating this game, and they played with a level of swagger and confidence that makes you completely forget these are teenagers and guys in their early 20s.
Yeah.
This wasn't a case of the veterans dragging the youth along to a result. It was the exact opposite. The youth set the tone, and the veterans had to raise their level just to match them. And, Pablo again talked about how the squad, they don't look at the age. They're all there for a reason. They've all been put on this team for one reason or another. Their skills all play a part of Pablo's master plan. And they play off of what each one of them brings. And that right there, that's identity. That's the culture. That's the foundation of this 3 games win streak. We aren't just winning games; we're building a powerhouse from the ground up.
Yeah, that's one thing Pablo has said. Not just this season. He said it again in this post-game interview. It's more. I believe he said it's more character over the stats. It's more about the person than what stats they're tallying up in the match. Where, are you putting in the effort? Are you putting in the work?
Right.
RSL, the way they handled themselves after the first goal was scored against them, and they just went back to work, was pretty impressive to me. If you don't know, and if you aren't watching this team fights, and they do not stay down. At least that's what I've seen in the first 4 games that they've played.
Yeah.
7 minutes. We talk. I've talked to you about the 5-minute rule that we all. When I was coaching the youth teams, that we always installed. 5 minutes to reset. I mean, the other team can come back. Boom. That's when a majority of the goals are scored. Is right after a stoppage, by either team. So that's the part of the game you really need to manage is 5 minutes after any stoppage. And it was just a little bit after that, 7 minutes later. Kalaskan makes a run from deep in the midfield, collects the ball about, I don't know, top of the 18-yard box, takes it down to the end line, and puts a hard cross in, puts pressure on the defense, and Austin's defense deflected it into their own goal. Lucky, call it what you want, but I call it you are making your own luck.
Yeah.
If you want to get into it, they still have to defend it, whether it goes in, if it's ugly, whatever. The goals count the same.
Yep.
Again, it's just a very mature response from a very, very young side, showing composure, resiliency, and after conceding a goal that, maybe they really think that it shouldn't have happened. It was their mistake. Just like Austin's own goal, it was their mistake. But not to mention, the little help from the energy at the stadium from the RioT.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel that Real Salt Lake was ever in any real trouble in that game?
As I was going to the game, Isaiah told me that even at home, we weren't the favorite to win this game.
We haven't been. We haven't been the favorite in any match.
In any match, yeah, you're right. And it did. It made me a little nervous after the goal. And you kind of felt it for a little bit there in the stadium. It went quiet. You let that goal go in kind of early, and just the nature of the goal. How Rafa just kind of watched it, and no one was there on that far post, and it was just kind of like, what happened? What where did we break down with that? It just was. So yeah, was I nervous? Yeah, a little bit. I won't lie.
No, did you expect? So going into halftime, we're a 1-1 draw. Were you expecting any changes or substitutions being made at the break?
I guess just because I saw like Luna on the bench, I kind of thought that maybe he would come in for the second half. Other than that, no, I really the team played good. I mean, we've talked about it before. Just all of them, they really, for a team that we really don't have like huge names, and we have a lot of youth, a lot of homegrowns, but they've been really fun to watch, and I want to see all of them play, and it's hard to even know who's going to be in there.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot about matchups from opponent to opponent.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, let's get into the tactical grid of this second half. We come out of the tunnel, no halftime changes like we talked about, and you can see our boys are growing into the match. We're knocking on the door. We're creating chances. We had 23 shots for the night, and that's just crazy. I don't know if we had that amount any time last year.
I think we might have come close to totaling in one game that we totaled in the first 3 matches. Maybe.
Right.
I don't know. I have to go back and look at the stats, but
yeah. I mean, we were so close all night long. But the back of the net we couldn't find it. But in the 60th minute, you felt it. Still little energy, the nervous energy starts creeping into American First Field. Start thinking, is this going to be one of those nights? But then in the 70th minute, we got to see Diego Luna and Victor Olatunji for the first minutes of 2026, and the roof absolutely blew off. We talked about it, and yeah, I mean, just when Luna was waiting to come on, the whole crowd just kept on chanting Luna, and it really was fun. It was amazing to see the excitement and the energy from the crowd.
Yeah, Kevin, to me it seemed like it's been forever since we've seen Diego Luna, and Victor Tunji be on the field with the
Yeah.
team, and it's only been 4 weeks. It's only been 4 matches.
Yeah. No, I know.
But there was a lot of excitement for sure. It was kind of
Yeah.
fun to see.
Yeah, for sure. And this wasn't a massive whiteboard tactical overhaul. This was about presence. And the second the Moon Boy and Owen Tunji stepped onto the pitch, Austin FC stopped breathing. The tempo didn't just increase, it spiked. Suddenly the ball was moving faster. You've got Luna drifting inside, demanding the ball. He's forcing 3 Austin defenders to collapse on him to cope. And, while they're worried about Diego, you have Owen Tunji. He's going vertical. He's stretching the back line and is creating lanes that literally did not exist, 10 minutes prior. And here's the beauty of having those veterans back. It freezes everyone else up. Austin, they were worried about Luna. They were worried about Victor. And you had Caliscan and Gilavogi are suddenly, playing 10 yards higher, and we're pinning them deeper and deeper. By the time we hit the 80th minute, Austin, they looked gassed. They really did. It looked like they were chasing ghosts out there. But we own the possession, we own the territory, and we own the momentum. It wasn't just about the substitutions either. That was a takeover.
Yeah, it was pretty apparent. I mean, physically, Austin just looked like they were done. It really looked, especially after the winning goal was scored by Spearings. It just looked like they did not want to be on that field anymore.
Yeah.
We've got to that point where the old boys come back. Luna and Victor hit the field for the first time this season. And then the moment happened. You talk about the stadium and Pablo talking about the magic, being in and out of this team. In the 81st minute, Spearings enters the match for the first time. Another RSL debut. He has 4 touches in 7 minutes. His 4th touch came from a ball given from Justin Glad from 25 yards out. He shoots. A lot of everybody says, and including himself, tongue in cheek, kind of smiling and laughing in the post-game show. Shoots without looking and buries it in the bottom left corner. One of the best shots I've seen this year in the MLS. So with an 89th minute game winner from your man of the match, Stein Spearings, assisted from Justin Glad. I was sitting at home watching it. Everybody in the house heard me cheer. What was the atmosphere like at the stadium?
It was the same. It was just crazy. I had a friend that was at the game, and talking to him the day after, and he actually got up about the 86th minute and was like, it's just like we were talking about, just one of those games that's going to end in a tie.
No, he didn't.
He really did. He got up. He was just about out of the stadium when the crowd went crazy, and he looked back at the scoreboard and saw that we went up, and yeah, he was pretty upset. And I think, people are going to have to really, really look at this team, because talk about it a million times, but the depth we have and the subs that Pablo can conjure up, anything could happen with this team.
For sure. It's happened over and over and over in the MLS where there's these late 90th minute goals.
Yeah.
You just never know. You just never know.
Yeah.
So Spearings, big moment in the riot. This is RSL's 8th debut of the 2026 season. He brought RSL's fastest debut goal in the 22 history of the club. He's the 6th RSL player ever to score in an MLS debut. And now that goal helped us to 3 straight wins. suddenly, Kevin, does RSL have a new gear?
I guess you could call it a new gear. Again, it's the depth. We keep on talking the depth. I mean, and I think that was the most exciting thing I was looking forward to this year. Like the midfield, I don't think I've ever seen so many players that could come in and we don't skip a beat. And so yeah, I think we have a new gear and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah, it already is. I mean, they're all like players, but they all bring just a little bit different style, and it's kind of fun to see because it changes the whole dynamic of the game. We talk about Stein certainly being one of the big key players in Saturday's game, but who would you? What's in your mind? Who are your key players for this game, minus Stein?
Um, Minus Stein. Okay. Um, Thought about this a little bit, and my first one's going to be Caliscan. You had him last week, and I'm going to take him this week. But he's really been the key for this team. I feel like he's just the workhorse. Like he's everywhere, but he doesn't really get talked about a lot by fans or opponents. I don't think, and I kind of feel like he's our little silent killer.
For sure.
And yeah, he's either making the plays to happen, or he's 100% part of it. And
Well, he's also thwarting what our opposition is doing too. He's always in the middle of the defense.
right. So, and then my second, I did have Spearings in with this, but I- Luna, Spearings, I think, I mean, I guess you could even throw in Olin Tunji. The late subs, they got the riot, they got him going again. We got to see Stein get his first minutes. Um, but yeah, you know, with the energy that they brought, I think it helped a lot with our momentum. I think I wouldn't say we were running a little low, but I think that it put us into that part where we needed to get that last goal.
Yeah, you talk about Luna being a big integral part of that game, I and he was, and he was for different reasons. He wasn't the dynamic. I thought it was just good to have him come on the field. It brought energy back into the stadium, which fed the team, I think.
Yeah,
But just having Luna on the field changes the whole dynamic of what they're doing defensively because they have to watch him. They have to know where Diego Luna is at all times.
for sure.
Uh, which, like you mentioned, it opened up a bunch of different openings for the other players on the field. I'm going to pick two also. First one, Justin Glad. He assisted the game winner. I mean, what more can you ask for? I mean, Kevin, this is the fourth assist this season from a defender.
I was just gonna say,
It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, these guys, they're it's almost like the three backs are three defensive midfielders. They were at the end of that match, they were playing so high. They were
really were.
I mean, they were a good 7 to 10 yards off the half line.
Yep.
They were pressing so hard, which is it's gutsy, but my word, it's fun to watch. This guy has been a constant. Rafa Cabral. He's been a constant since the season begun. He was a constant last year. 9 saves, as you mentioned before. Really kept RSL alive early, and he made some big saves late also in that match. So let's just kind of talk about this win and what it means for the club. Why does this win matter for the big picture of the season?
I want everyone just take a second and really look at what we're seeing here. Because let's be honest with ourselves, last year, RSL didn't win these games. Last year we didn't have this kind of depth. We've talked about that. We didn't have the luxury of looking at the bench and seeing names like Luna and Nolan Tunji ready to change the world,
Mm-hmm.
And last year we didn't have this kind of composure. When we conceded first in 2025, it felt like a mountain we couldn't climb.
Yeah.
We only had one comeback win the entire season. But this is 2026, and we have 3 straight wins. We're already matched our entire comeback total for last year before we even hit April. And we're getting game-changing, legacy-defining moments from players who weren't even available 2 weeks ago. And that's kind of crazy to think.
Yep.
So, what we're witnessing is a team discovering new pieces and, more importantly, figuring out where they all go. It's not just a roster, it's a puzzle that Pablo is starting to solve, and the identity is clear. The culture is set, and the foundation, it's rock solid.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the West should, this is their official notice that RSL they're a different animal this year.
Yeah, for sure they are. When you were talking, I just remember back to our first episode when we were talking about the new Miller era, as the Miller family is taking an interest in Real Salt Lake and become part owners. And what makes Stein Spearing's moment feel even bigger than what it was and just a goal? It's the payoff of everything happening underneath this new era. I mean, the money that was spent this past off season, the players that were brought in, it sounds like to me, from what Gilovagi has mentioned and Spearing's mentioned in this past post-game show interviews, that they had been talking to these players for longer than just a few months. And when we started this, and this podcast has only been 6 weeks now, I would have never thought I would have been this invested in this team like I am currently. I mean, you can't write stories like this. No. And if you could, it would only be half as good as watching all of this unfold in front of your eyes. It's so much fun to see. It's so much fun to talk about. I think we've got to give Coach Pablo some props, Kevin. What do you think?
I heard some people talking that maybe we should have a change in the coaching for the head coach and stuff, but I don't know. I think this guy's a genius. But he, in his post-game interview, he was talking about just that he felt something special about the squad. That we talked about the magic before, and that he's felt this before in winning teams, and it just makes me that much more excited to watch this season. I don't think we should just give him some props. He deserves a lot of props. Like, he's really put together some amazing starting lineups, and they've all done what I would assume he wanted.
Yeah, it's RSL has really always, even before Pablo was here, was known for their grit and defensive structure.
Oh yeah,
and that's what Coach Pablo Manestroni is made of. He's a tough guy, and all of that is still here currently with this team. But the evolution of Pablo's system and the team he now has is in how fluid the team has become. Let's just talk about the system formation for a minute. The back five, some people call it a back five, some people call it a back three, but it's really on defense. It's a back five morphs into a back three when Real Salt Lake is in possession of the ball, which lets the wing backs, the two outside defenders, push high and stretch the field. The midfield is constantly rotating, with Kalaskin drifting wide, Gulvagi stepping into half spaces, and Dylan or Moisa dropping to build the play forward. And then the front line isn't just doing the same thing the other one is doing. Solanas, Luna, Ola Tunji, they all play the 9 position, the striker position, and roll differently. They all have a different style in a way they play that position when they're out there. And Minestrone is using that fluid play of these creative players instead of forcing a single way of playing in that position. This flexibility, I think, is what has allowed RSL to absorb in this past game against Austin FC. They were able to absorb the first punch and then slowly take control of the match. And that's exactly what happened.
Oh, yeah.
You can talk about RSL's flexibility without even you can't talk about that without mentioning the development of their homegrown players from the academy.
Oh, for sure. And, let's get real about these starting lineups. I mean, starting 4 academy products against a team like Austin, that wasn't just a publicity stunt. What we're seeing is the Mascheroni blueprint. And Pablo is building a system where these young players aren't just prospects. They're essentially contributors to our winning identity. But, let's just look at how these pieces fit. First you have Xavier Gozo. It gives us that raw vertical and total fearlessness on the flank. He doesn't care who he's lining up against. He'll just take him on.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
Oh, it really has been. I just never thought I would see him in this role, but he's doing it so good. And then you have Aiden Hizarkani. He plays so calm. It's almost like he's a veteran out there.
Yeah, for an 18-year-old to do what he's doing right now, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, the composure in the midfield. It allows us to keep our heads up when the press gets tight. And then we've talked about these two, Griffin Dillon and Luca Moisa, kind of the same player, but they do have their differences. But these guys are the batteries. Their energy and ball winning are what allow our stars to push higher up the pitch. They really have, but they do the dirty work so the magic can happen.
Yeah.
And they just, I don't know. I mean, obviously they do tire, but they don't seem like they do. They go. But then we got our anchor, Justin Glad, sitting back there, anchoring the whole defensive line with veteran composure, just making sure that the other kids have freedom to fly. But this youth core is changing our DNA. Because of them, we are playing faster. I feel like we're pressing higher, we're recovering quicker, and you see the result. We're growing into games now, not fading out of them. And we kind of talked about this in the first episode too, just how last year I was so frustrated how much we played back, and I love, even after we went up. Yeah, when we went up even at 2-1 Saturday night, we did not stop pressing. It's been fun for me to watch.
No more parking the bus.
Yeah.
No more parking the bus. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's not just a robotic substitution pattern anymore. Coach Pablo brought on Luna and Ola Tunji. They weren't just subbed on to fill spaces or to rest, give players rest spells. They changed the game's rhythm. Spearing's substitution wasn't just a desperation move. I mean, everybody thinks that Spearings is going to come in and score the goals. Spearings, he even said it himself in the post-game show, he's not a scorer.
Yeah.
He scores goals throughout. He has scored goals throughout his career, and in a handful of goals here and there in each season that he's played. But Spearing's substitution was a calculated addition to the quality of the game that was already on the field. Coach Pablo's teams, they're just tough. The team never gives up, never panics. The structure of the system, I haven't seen it really collapse. We've seen some weak lapses, but it's never collapsed this year.
Yeah.
In 4 matches. And the belief never wavers. And I hope that belief never wavers up in the stands also.
Yeah.
Because we all know, not just RSL fans, not just, overall a Utah fan, doesn't matter if it's Utah, University of Utah, BYU, Utah Jazz. Utah fans, I'm just going to say it, Kevin, they suck. They when the going gets bad, they don't stand behind their team. At least not very many. And if you're going to be that fan, and I'll probably say this again, if you're going to be that fan when they do start winning again, because they will lose games when they start losing. When they do lose a game, and you jump off the bandwagon, don't get back on, please.
Yeah, should be with them through thick and thin.
Absolutely, be a supporter. But yeah, I mean, Pablo is and his staff has created what we're seeing out on the pitch right now. It's sustainable momentum. We're starting to have an identity to this club. The depth we've mentioned before, the way they adapt to situations on the field. He has a system and the players now to play this system that can absorb injuries that we've seen early.
Mm-hmm.
Integrate new players from our academy or our development system that we've seen, and they're still producing winning football. So that's why this comeback win feels more like, or it feels more like not just a result, but it feels more like maybe who this team is becoming.
Yeah.
Let's look forward into the future, Kevin. What problems can we see San Diego FC cause us in the weekend to come?
All right, Mike, let's look down that road. So this Sunday, we're heading into the Lions Den, Snapdragon Stadium. And let's set the record straight. San Diego FC is an expansion club in name only. They finished top of the West last year, and they are currently unbeaten in 2026. They're physical. They're incredibly organized under Mikey Veras, and they are absolutely lethal in transition. They don't just press you, they set traps. They wait for that one lazy pass in the midfield, and before you can blink, they're funneling the ball through the wide channels to Anders Dreyer, who, by the way, is currently leading the league in goal contributions. This isn't just a game, it's a discipline test. In that atmosphere where 25,000 people screaming, if your structure breaks for even a second, they're going to punish you. So I think there's 3 big questions for this game. Number 1, does Pablo stick with the kids? Gozo, Hizarkani, and Dylan have been sensational at home, but the Snapdragon is a different beast. Do you trust the 18-year-olds in a hostile environment where the noise makes communication impossible? Or do you lean on the veterans to weather the early storm? The number 2, Luna and Olatunji didn't just play against Austin, they changed the gravity of the match. Now that they've got their first minutes under their belts, is it time to unleash them from the jump? Or is the super sub role too valuable to give up on the road? And then the last one, you got Stein Spearings. After a debut like that, how do you keep him off the pitch? He brings that European grit and a rocket of a right foot. But how quickly can he integrate into the defensive shape? We need to stop San Diego's counter. It will be our biggest problem, Mike, but it's one Pablo has to get right.
Yeah, I think I don't know how he can get it wrong, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about that in a minute.
Yeah. So, the travel's real. San Diego's going to be hungry. and that stadium's going to be rocking. But RSL has something they haven't had in years: momentum and depth.
Yeah.
So, Mike, I'm
yeah.
putting you on the spot. When we look at the tactical board on Sunday, what is the one matchup that decides if we come back to Utah with 3 points or 0?
It's always more than one. It's always more than one matchup, I think. I think what we have to watch for is, with this team being as young as it is, we have to have early composure. We have to, like you said about the counterattacks, we have to be aware of what is happening on the field. That's going to incorporate the midfield and how well it's controlled by the likes of Kalaskan, Gilovagi, and whoever joins them, whether it be Dylan or Moisa or whoever comes into that midfield. And then I think the main thing, we got to take care of set pieces. We got to get that right. If we can get that right, man, I think we can start looking at possibilities of some clean sheets, to be honest with you. I think this squad is that good to start doing that. But I think the main thing is, I think this game might come down to what it came down to last weekend, and that's around the 60-minute mark for subs, and what kind of a spark that whoever will come off the bench can give the team. I think this match, you kind of touched on it, it's going to reward the team that's more patient, has the better structure, and does bend but maybe doesn't break. And they're going to have to really hone in on their opportunities. They have to really take the opportunities and make them count. And those are all things that Real Salt Lake has shown in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But, now the road leads to San Diego. Like I said, Snapdragon Stadium. Kevin, you ready for some tidbits of information? Little fun facts about our opponent coming up?
Yeah, let's hear them.
All right. The year and month that this club was founded, May 2023. And it was by Sir Mohammed Mansour and the Saikwan band of Kumyai Nation.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. It marks the first indigenous ownership in the MLS history. The name Saikwan translates to the place where the water flows in the Kumyai language, which kind of highlights what they've done with the stadium, which is kind of interesting to me. I found this interesting. The stadium was built with an eco-friendly design with a focus on LEED Gold certification. I didn't take too much time to look into what that is, but it's emphasizing sustainable materials and water efficiency. It kind of fits with what that the name means.
Yeah.
The venue that they will be playing in, it's a record-breaking venue. It's the largest soccer-specific stadium in the U.S. and the permanent home of San Diego FC since 2025. It holds 35,000 seats, and also featuring 3,000 safe standing seats in the north end, built for supporters. The supporter section, so the loudest section of the stadium. And it is the only global stadium to host 5 different professional and collegiate sport teams, including San Diego Wave, which is the women's team.
Yep.
and it also is the home to San Diego State University Aztecs, and then of course the San Diego FC who we're going to go in and hopefully move around a little bit.
So it's off to Southern California. This Sunday is more than just a road trip. It's a chance to take this new identity out of Sandy and prove it can travel. It's a chance to turn 3 weeks of momentum into something much bigger. So mark your calendars. Real Salt Lake, San Diego FC at Snapdragon Stadium, Sunday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. We're looking to extend this streak to 4 and keep our seat at the head of the table in the Western Conference. And that's where we leave you tonight, folks, with a club riding a 3-match surge, a roster discovering layers we didn't even know they had, and a fan base that just watched their team take a punch, settle in, and answer with pure quality. We're seeing a team that can lean on its academy core and trust its veterans in the same breath. This is a squad evolving under Pablo Mastroeni in real time. RSL didn't just beat Austin on Saturday. They showed us exactly who they're becoming. So rest up, Claret and Cobalt faithful, because this weekend the test gets louder, the lights get brighter, and the stakes, they get a whole lot heavier. If this team keeps growing the way they have these last 3 weeks, we are in for something truly special. As this team keeps rising, we want you rising right there with us. Subscribe to the podcast at IntotheRioT on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and most importantly, share the show. Post about it. Tell your friends and bring them into the community. The more we grow, the louder the Into the Riot voice becomes. For Mike, I'm Kevin. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Vamos Real.